the things that would just block me, it would just be these intense feelings of me speaking over myself that I am gay, that this is who I am, that it's not possible to change. Even seeing the way that a lot of people from church would treat others, and I would be like, I don't know if I belong there. I'm so different. I'm the opposite of what everyone is in church. I didn't know. I thought I was just too far gone. I didn't know if it was really possible, if God could change me. And those thoughts would just always be in my head of, Angel, how are you going to let this go? This is your identity. This is who you are. Your life is literally surrounded with just gay things. Gay friends, gay jobs, gay parties, just everything. And that's what I wanted to do. That's what made me happy. And I thought I was happy, but it wasn't bringing me joy, what true joy is. And those things would just be in my head, and just those voices that would tell me, Angel, you can't change. You could try, you can go back to church, you can do this, but you can go and you're going to come back to your normal life and still have the same feelings and desires. And those voices were the things that would tell me, just don't even try anymore. And I remember in April 2016, I broke down. I was in my room. I remember I'm on my bed, just laying down, and I was just talking to the Lord, because I still had this connection that I couldn't understand with Jesus. I could understand how, being in the lifestyle, I didn't think that it could happen until I experienced it myself. And I was just on my bed laying down, and I was talking to the Lord, and I was telling him, I love you. I miss you. I want to come back to you. I just don't know. I don't know how to fight this. I know that in your word, it says that it is possible, that there is freedom in Jesus Christ, but Lord, show me. I don't know what it is. And I said, I'm tired of doing it on my own strength. It's obvious that I can't do it by myself, and I need you, Lord. And I said, Lord, and this prayer is a prayer that I call the dangerous prayer, because I've heard it before. I've heard people make these kinds of prayer, and I was like, you know what? Let me try this. And I said, Lord, allow me to go through whatever I need to go through for me to come back to you. And I don't care what it is, Lord, but I want to come back to you. I know that I need you in my life. I know that in my future is going to be you. You're my future, Jesus. I forgot about that prayer. And 2 months passed by, and June 11th, 2016 came around. And I remember I was at work that day. I was let go early of work. I was going home. I didn't plan on going out at all that night. I had gone out the night before, and I was hungover still. I went out and I got a haircut. I was starting to get texts from people. I had a friend in town, and I was like, you know what? Let me just go out. And I got invited to go to a house party. And in that house party, I crashed into my friend Luis, which was so awesome. I hadn't seen him in a long time, and I just saw him, give him a hug. I asked him where he had been, and I didn't know that the Lord was doing the work in him already at that time. That night just kept going, and we all decided to go to Pulse nightclub. And so we went, had a time together, dancing, drinking, and they call last call at 2:02 a.m. So I go ahead, I go to the bar, got my last drink, came back into the main dance floor, and I was chatting it up. Some people were dancing. Some people were starting to say their goodbyes. And I remember at that moment, 2:02 a.m., I hear a loud pop. And I remember it was so close to me. I hear it in the right of my ear, pop. I remember seeing an orange flash cross my face. I jumped, I dropped my drink, I got scared. And in seconds, I just hear pop, 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 really fast. And all I could think at that moment was run. And I turned to my left. I ran about 2 or 3 steps. And I remember I start feeling hot taps behind my legs. And because of the force, I fell down on my face. And in seconds, the club is in chaos. You could start hearing the screams, people jumping over each other, trampling each other. I remember at that moment, even though I knew I couldn't walk, I was already shot in my legs, I still attempted to get up to run. And at that moment, I remember someone just jumps over me. I feel a foot behind my left leg, and over the screams, over the music, I hear a snap. And I remember feeling the most excruciating pain that I've ever felt, as My leg was being broken at that moment, and I fall right back down on the floor. And at this time, I can't move. I'm starting to not feel my legs. My left leg is broken. My right leg is all shot. And all I could do was just cover my head. And every time I look up, I just see bodies just falling down one by one. There was a lady that fell next to me, and she was in pain. She was yelling. I remember I grabbed her hand and I told her it's going to be okay. And at this moment, I hear the shooter go outside. I can hear the shots going on. And I took that time to lift my head, and I looked around and I just see bodies all over. It was quieter in that room now. And I remember at that moment, I was like, Angel, this is not real. This is not real. This is a dream. This is a dream. Wake up. This is a dream. And I kept on repeating it. This is a dream. Wake up. I kept on hitting myself. I was pinching myself. And I just opened my eyes and I was still there. And I hear some footsteps coming in through the door, and I put my head down because I didn't know who it was. And I just start hearing pops. And this time it was slower than before. Pop, pop. I couldn't understand why until I came to realize that it was a shooter, and he's shooting everyone that's on the floor. He was making sure that everyone's dead, that he finished the job in that room. And I remember hearing the shots closer and closer and closer. And the lady next to me, she was in pain, and I held her hand. I told her it's going to be okay. We have to be quiet. Stay still. Pretend you're dead. As I'm telling her that, I hear the shots coming closer, and I tell myself, Angel, close your eyes. Stop breathing. Don't move. Pretend you're dead. And at that moment, I had my hand on my face covered. I'm holding her hand with my other hand. And I remember hearing a loud pop. I got scared because it sounded just like the first pop that I heard that night right next to my ear. I jumped. I opened my eyes. And I remember seeing the body of the lady just jump up and down. I remember her hand lets loose of my hand. And I look at her face and her eyes just shut. And at that moment, in the inside, I'm panicking. Never in my life would have I thought I was going to see someone get murdered in front of my face. I'm panicking in the inside because I know I'm next. He knows that I'm alive. I'm holding her hand. But yet I'm still trying to pretend that I'm dead. I'm trying to not make a sound. I'm not trying to move. I'm just staying still on the floor. And I can feel him just staring at me behind me. I could feel him. I could feel his presence right behind me. But it was like if time froze. Nothing was going on. I can feel him behind me. So at that moment, I thought to myself, and I said, Angel, I think this is a time that the Lord has given you to make peace with him because you're about to die. And in my head, I start praying and I start asking for forgiveness. And I said, Lord, please forgive me for the way that I've lived, for the things that I've been doing. Please forgive me that I pushed myself away from you. You were always there with me, but I was the one that pushed you away. And I said, Lord, I'm just sorry. I'm sorry, but please, I'm about to die. Take me with you, please, Lord. Take me with you. And still nothing was happening, like if time froze. But something just clicked in my head, and something just made me change my prayer. And I started to prophesy over my life. I said, Lord, no, I'm not leaving here dead today. I'm leaving here alive. You promised me that there was purpose in my life that hasn't been fulfilled. So that means that I'm going to be here alive. You promised my mom that her son had purpose that still hasn't been fulfilled. So that means that I'm leaving here alive. And I just kept on prophesying over my life. I kept on telling the Lord, I'm going to leave here and I'm going to testify of what you're going to do in my life. I'm going to worship you, Lord. I'm going to come back and worship you as hard as I can. And it was like if there was spiritual warfare going on at that moment, like if I was changing the plans of the enemy at that moment. And I just kept on praying and praying. And the moment that I said amen in my head, I said amen, and right there I hear pop.